So overall, how would you assess the Duterte administration's approach towards the South China Sea, the West Philippine Sea?
Um, I think well-intentioned but naive is the best way to describe it. There's nothing wrong with pursuing diplomatic outreach to China. There's nothing wrong with pursuing a code of conduct. The problem is that there doesn't seem to be much being done in case that's not going to work. So if the Chinese aren't serious, if they decide to start putting fighter jets on the Spratlys and harassing Filipino fishermen and oil and gas and Coast Guard, if they re-blockade the Marines on the Sierra Madre, what is the plan B? What is the Duterte government going to do about it? And they're not taking any steps to prepare for that possibility. In fact, they've rolled back a lot of things like the strength of the U.S.-Philippine alliance that have acted as a deterrent against Chinese aggression in the past.
Why do you call it naive?
Because the facts on the ground don't support the notion that China's acting in good faith. If a bully keeps punching you over and over and over, it is naive to think he's all of a sudden going to stop and behave nicely. Now, sure, people change and countries' intentions can change, and maybe the Chinese really do want a negotiated settlement here, but I don't see any evidence of it. And clearly the Department of National Defense doesn't see much evidence of it, and the AFP doesn't see much evidence of it because they keep pushing back against all of these Chinese activities.
But supporters of the president would say they're not being naive, they're being practical. They're being pragmatic, and they don't want to go to war with China. We want our fishermen to be able to fish. So how would you address that kind of feedback?
I don't think that's practicality. I think that's defeatist. So you repeatedly hear statements out of the palace and supporters of the palace that go something like, well, there's nothing we can do about it because if the Chinese were to attack us, we would lose right away, and therefore we should just give them whatever they want. That's basically what that boils down to, right? But the only options here are not surrender or war. There is a whole spectrum of ways to impose costs on the Chinese for being bullies and outlaws that we haven't tried yet. Now, I'm not saying that 10, 20 years from now, at some point, we'll decide that the cost isn't worth it and that maybe the Chinese are just determined to get this no matter what. But it's a little early to fly the white flag and surrender now.